want to give you a brief intro into this video. So, I was driving down the motorway, my battery light came on. I'd already done some work on the alternator, so I kind of chose to ignore it, but then I noticed the engine getting hot, but I couldn't pull over anywhere safely. I was on the motorway, I'd got my baby son and my young daughter with me, couldn't find anywhere safe to pull over, so I tried to keep going until I found somewhere. By the time I found somewhere, that was it. The engine was not running anymore. There was steam everywhere, there was smoke everywhere, and that's it. So I phoned around a few engineering companies and a few mechanics and tried to get it booked in. A lot of places are busy right now, and I was told it'd be a good few weeks, probably the other end of Christmas before I could get it in anywhere. So I decided to tackle it myself, and I've never done this job before, so I was worried, but I did a lot of research, and anyway, crack on with the rest of the video. Today's the day I'm putting this head back together. The head is here. Yeah! First job is to clean this thermostat housing up and put that on first. I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to put the head on, put the head gasket on, and start building it back together. Try and remember where all these bolts went. First job was putting this thermostat housing on. I bought a new set of gaskets, everything I need. This has actually been really good because I didn't realise that you got the copper washers for injectors, and that was going through my head. At after clock this morning, that was going through my head. I've not got the injector seals, and I didn't even think to look in that, so that's worked out well. Next thing I need to do is clean up the block, and then I can put the head gasket on and sit this head on. There's so many bolts here that I forgot where they go and where they're meant to have been. If I need to have a break at any point and just go watch some YouTube videos, that's fine. I just need to make some progress. If I don't get it all done today, I don't get it all done today, but I can't see why I shouldn't get it all done today. The hardest bit I can see for me today is setting the tappets, because I'm not going to be able to turn the engine over on my own and look at where the tappets are, the valves are. So in my panic of trying to get this done, I forgot that I needed to replace the water pump as well. Let me show you this. Kind of just discovered this, but this is what I thought had happened, and we've just discovered this. Me and my TikTok live friends over there. So this fan cowling thing sits here like that. Now what I thought, I had a suspicion that this had fallen off its little bolt thing and touched the fan, which stopped the fan going round, which burnt out the alternator belt. And having taken it off, you can see that big gouge there. That pretty much confirms my theory. So that thing is getting fucking yeeted off into bin. So I need to get this viscous fan off now, and luckily I bought a special tool to do it. I'm gonna try and do that now, get that off. Right, it wouldn't be Land Rover life without having to get the grinder out on some bolts. But basically, to get to this hole here, you had to take this off. But unfortunately, one of the bolts wanted to round off, so I had to get grinder face on it, take that off. But it's fine because that can get fucking through there now. And I've got a new one to go on. Just need to find a bolt. Let's put 4 bolts in there, and then that's it, innit? So this is the old alternator belt. It obviously burnt out in one particular spot, which again indicates that the fan got stuck on that cowling. It's just one of them things. It's not really that the Land Rover broke, it's not really that Land Rover's unreliable, just the fucking fan cowling coming off caused all this. Anyway, new water pump is on. I'm just cleaning the block up now. I've done it with a Stanley blade to scrape some of the debris off. I'm just going to use some like alcohol type wipes to get some shit off, and I'll give it a rub down with a sanding block, just lightly, and then we're ready to put the head on. Then I need to find the Haynes manual, because I need to find, I already know the order of the torque bolts, torquing the bolts up, head bolts. I already know that it needs to be 60 Newton meters, or is it 40 Newton? No, 60 Newton meters and 60 degree turn, and then a 60 degree turn again, and then on the bigger ones another 20 degrees, I think that's right. I'm going to obviously check the manual, but that's just what I've been researching for the last few days. Right, so the block is cleaned up now. Right. The head gasket's got all the torque settings on it anyway, which is extra good. It was 40 Newton meters, 60 degrees, 6 degrees, and then 20 degrees on some of the bolts. Bit of a faff, not gonna lie. This head gasket is the 0 hole. This is a 0 hole gasket. The one that came off it was a 3 hole gasket. The holes indicate the thickness. The one that came off it, I believe, was 1.4 millimeters. This one is 1.69, so essentially 1.7 millimeters. I believe, if I remember rightly, the head has had 20 thou skimmed off it. It's the thickest head gasket you can get. It's gonna work. So I'm gonna eat this and I'm gonna put that back on. Right, the head bolts are all tightened up now. Next bit is to put the cam in and the wherever all that shit is. Must be there. Oh, the hotels.
Hands up in the air, they gun me down. I keep it on it, they crunching the numbers and bring them out. Young nigga got a fetish for success. If I ain't next, and I just leave impression. Next to rain on the window pane, puffy plain Jane. Let them second guess me. Wanna cop the Porsche with the Porsche in the skin. Grip the wheels at the horses. Why they trash to the chore on my list? Added this order, that's over the pen. I'm eating good, Miss caloric shit. I sipped the potion and poured it in. I on the tide when she poured it. Opportunity knock at the door, they like grit. They rush for the doors, then they open like bitch. Pin stroke, game cold as the fridge. Sound wave for like more than the clicks. Cowabunga, hurt the word for my shit. Ayy, wait. Been gritty, don't pity, they full thing with me, been real, fuck trending, I'm hype, I'm litty, been this since scrimmage, don't play game with me, I volley these hits like I play tennis, I dreamt this shit, now I live it, don't picture, I live here at the top with the titty, said I run this shit, how I try it with the pistol, body flop, with the vision jaw drop, when I spit it off top, little bitch, do you need such a fix, catch the fade when they chip me, that I kinda down to the penny wave, ay, heavy is all on my mind, I gotta make that edit, but I might spark that wildfire, rebel, when I reach, funhouse active, king of the palace, rubber like Malcolm, balled up fist in the air to the flashlight.
So I've took my time with this to try and get it done right, but it's like knocking on 3 o'clock now, so I'm starting to lose daylight. Looks like it's about to piss it down. I'm sweating and I'm getting angry. So I'm just gonna have to take 5, figure out what I'm doing. I'm putting things on in the wrong order, so then I'm having to take them back off again and all that shit. This was meant to be a quick job, but the head took 3 weeks to come back, and I can't find the pictures I took of the engine. So now I'm just struggling. Because how else would I have fucking done it? Oh no, it's just stuck there now. It's fucking stuck. What are you doing down there? Stuck there. I'm not even sure that's how it went. I don't think that went that way, did it? Should I have bolted this down first? Fucking hell. Fucking smashed the lot up. Could just smash it up. Then it'd all be fucking over with, wouldn't it? Fucking smashed the lot up. Just don't go back on. It's that simple. I barely lost my rag. I had trouble with the inlet manifold and exhaust manifold, but it's pretty much done now. I'm just missing one bolt, which is, well, fuck off, which is typical, really, isn't it? Oh dear, I need to tighten these bolts up here as well, which are just going to be one turn at a time with spanner. But we're pretty much back together. I had to take the alternator off to get the inlet manifold in. I've had to take lots of things apart to get things back together. Right, we're losing daylight. It's 4 o'clock, it's winter. There's not much more I can do right now. I'll show you where we are, where we're up to. Progress has been good. Not quite done, but everything's back together. The only thing that's not back together is the rocker cover isn't on. The reason the rocker cover isn't on is because I still need to do the tappets. Running out of daylight. I could do with an extra pair of hands to do the tappets because I need somebody to turn the engine, and then I can watch when we're at top dead centre, etc. So I just needed some help with that. So I'm downing tools right now. Downing tools right now. I'm going to pack away and then hit this again tomorrow like a truck. There's only one job left to do, so it can't be that difficult. The hard work is done. The hard work is done, okay? It's back together. Hopefully. I'm not feeling great because I wanted to do it today, but it's just the way it is. But I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully firing on all cylinders. Right, we're now back on day 2. A bit more prepared for day 2. Somebody who I believe was called Tom sent me this really useful guide to valve clearances. Really appreciate it. Is it fucking snow? Ooh. Right, so this guide to valve clearances is step by step. I have researched it, I have looked into it. It's just a bit overwhelming. It's just lots of little fiddly things and stuff. But anyway, the step-by-step guide is hopefully going to do it for me today. I've got everything I need and more. We're now just in valve clearances, and then that's it. I think I've got this earth strap to put back on, which I believe is a botched earth strap, which probably shouldn't even be there. So I'm going to tidy that up a bit. It's about done, it's about ready. Right, I'm going to try and explain this in a way that I understand it. I could be wrong, so don't shoot me down in comments. But basically, I need to turn the engine here with this 30mm socket here until I see these at top dead centre and go through. Which 2 should be up at once, and then I can use the feeler gauge, 0.25 feeler gauge, and adjust them on this. I have done this before in college. When I was in college 25 years ago. 25 years ago. I was in college 25 years ago, Castle College, Sheffield, and we learnt to do this. That's the first and only time I've ever used a feeler gauge. But useful skill to know, especially if you're going to be driving older vehicles. You undo this nut to loosen it off, and then you adjust this screw head here, which pushes down on this, which lifts or raises this here, which is where the feeler gauge goes into. So this is the valve clearance under there, and then I would use a feeler gauge. I'll try and roughly demonstrate. Basically, this is the feeler gauge. Anybody who doesn't know, it looks like a blade, but it's really, they're all different thicknesses. But basically, you slide it in between there, and you're meant to just feel a tiny little bit of resistance. I've got to do that when it's at top. Anyway, so I'll figure that out. Anyway, I'll try and record this while I'm doing it. This is such a daunting job for me. I don't know, I've put everything else back together. I've rebuilt this fucking engine, and I'm shitting myself about doing this one little job. This one's coming up now, and when it gets to the top it pauses for a second. So now I should be able to adjust number 1 and number 8 according to the theory, the rule of 9. Crack that off, and I'm going to wind that back. So I'll hold that there and then lock that down. Right, valve clearances are all done. If I've done it right, they're all done and all right. I've got resistance at 0.2, some resistance, that's what it says on the guide. So now I've got to put the rocker cover back on and the gasket. I've got to put this fucking filter thing back on, which all goes to this. And then this really dodgy earth strap here, I'm going to try and make better, and that needs to go to here. You can see that. That's all I need to do, and then find some charge for the battery, and then it's ready to go. Last piece of the puzzle is this. It's going to be a fiddle to get on. Right, Jubilee clip, last Jubilee clip, I think. Right, that is it all back together. Just put some water in. Fuck me! I think the battery's working. Well, at least I know the alarm works anyway. I'm gonna go try and start it now. The battery might not be working. I've put the jump lead thing on, but I'll leave the camera there and we'll see. Right, well that noise means that the battery is dead and the jump start thing ain't fucking having it. So, take two. I've already had dead battery once. The shame and embarrassment that my Land Rover has been jump started off a fucking transit van.
Shut up, fool.
Oh, bleh.
Give it 5 minutes to put some power into the battery.
Ah, here we go. Come on.
Like a Swiss watch. Like a Swiss watch.
Right, so it started first time. Literally first turn at key it started. However, we got a diesel leak. Watch that, them spanners. Right, there you go, you saw it start first time. Is it leaking still? Right, there we go, first turn at key. Is it? I'll show you the leak. Trying to get it to run up to temperature. However, Defenders are well known for running really cold and struggling to get up to temperature, especially when sat still. But the heaters are blowing warm, which is a good sign. Top rad hose is still cold. I'm waiting for the thermostat to open, and hopefully that's it. The temperature is going up slightly, just not as much as I would have thought. Luckily, I've still got over half a tank of fuel because I filled it up with diesel just before it fucking went kaboom. But anyway, listen, it seems to be working. It's been running for about an hour now. I'm confident. Right, take it for a spin. I don't really know my way around here, but I'm going to go to Euro Parts and pick up an oil filter. So the ultimate test is if I can turn it off and it turn back on again. That's the ultimate test, so we'll give that a go. I'm at Euro Parts now, going to get an oil filter for it. So there you have it. I've done about 60 miles so far. Add it up to temperature, add it as hot as I can get it, no leaks anywhere, things seem to be good. So I've ordered some of the bits, I'm going to do an oil change, I'm going to flush the water out again and start that again. But everything seems to be good. Now the point of this video was really to show how easy it can be for a novice to do work themselves without paying a mechanic. Obviously you should always seek professional help and all that kind of shit, but it just wasn't, I was impatient and I wanted it doing. But also I've learned a lot in the process, so get on YouTube, put in YouTube, search whatever it is that you want to do, and you'll find somebody already done that thing and they'll give you a good guide to it. Anyway, thank you very much, I'll see you soon.